No, not at all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady from the District of Columbia yields back. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Strzok, you were involved in investigating both the matter of Hillary Clinton's private email server and the so-called Russian collusion matter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And Ms. Page was also involved in both those. Is that correct?
She was not a member of the investigative team for either. She was a senior staff member for Mr. McCabe, who I believe began
but somebody you were communicating with on a fairly regular basis on these matters. Thank you. And you would agree, would you not, that both investigations were supposed to be fair and unbiased?
Yes, and that they were.
Yet you were both rooting for Hillary Clinton to win, and you both detested Donald Trump. Did you not?
I think that's fair to say.
Okay. And in fact, as we've learned, you apparently found Donald Trump's supporters detestable too, like those around Loudon, Virginia, as we've already heard, whom you called ignorant blanks. I'm not going to say that here, and that you had visited a Southern Virginia Walmart and could smell the Trump support. Now, I have to say, when I read those communications and when I hear them here, those between the two of you, specifically what you had to say about Trump supporters, it reminded me of something that Hillary Clinton had said about Trump supporters. She found them, what did she call them? Deplorables. And I would submit that it was your and Hillary Clinton's smug view of Donald Trump's supporters that was truly deportable. Don't you think that the American people, when they're paying your salaries, when they're paying for a fair and unbiased investigation by none other than the FBI, deserved a whole lot better than what those comments I just referred to reflect?
Congressman, two things. One, I absolutely regret the appearance of some of those texts and wish I would have said or phrased or not said at all some of the things I did. Two, I disagree completely with your attribution of my views of Trump supporters. I never said that. I expressed no such thing. There are millions and millions and millions of Americans who I deeply respect and honor who voted for Mr. Trump. Here. But I just
also, interestingly, you told Ms. Page, and I'll quote here, "I loathe Congress," and she agreed. Now, you're probably in pretty good company there. A survey I saw a while back about Congress found us less popular than root canals and head lice and colonoscopies. And although we did beat out playground bullies and the Ebola virus, but this is not about us. It's about you and whether or not the American people can have the confidence in the investigations that you were involved in, and whether you were fair and unbiased when you investigated both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Would you agree with that?
Sir, I appreciate that concern very much, and let me explain a little bit about that comment. I have the utmost respect for Congress, for its role in oversight, for its role in passing laws, for any of the functions. What I was stating in that comment was the efforts by some to turn legitimate oversight activity into unwarranted
we appreciate there's a
criticism of the FBI for the FBI doing nothing but doing its job.
There's a lot of us up here that don't like Congress particularly too. So I would there's probably a lot of the American people, the vast majority would agree with you on that. Mr. Strzok, you were removed from the Mueller investigation, correct?
Yes.
But for the most part, all the others that were there are still there, correct?
I can't speak to the current staffing and personnel of the special counsel. Let me tell you who they are. Greg Andrus, who gave $1,000 to the Democrat running to hold the Senate seat previously held by Barack Obama, and $2,600 to Democrat Senator Gillibrand, and $0 to the Trump campaign. He's still there. And Rush Atkinson, who donated to the Clinton campaign, and $0 to the Trump campaign. He's still there. And Kayleigh Freeney, who contributed to both the Obama presidential campaigns and the Hillary Clinton's campaign, and $0 to the Trump campaign, still there. And Andrew Goldstein, who donated $3,300 to both Obama campaigns and $0 to the Trump campaign, still there. And Elizabeth Prelogar, who, by the way, clerked for liberal Supreme Court Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Elena Kagan and contributed to both the Obama and Clinton campaigns and $0 to the Trump campaign, still there. And James Quarles, who contributed to the Democratic presidential campaigns of Dukakis and Gore and Kerry and Obama and Hillary Clinton. Now, he did contribute to former Congressman Chaffetz and Allen, but he contributed $20,000 to the Democratic and Senate campaign committees and $0 to the Trump campaigns. I could go on, but I'm just about to run out of time. Suffice it to say that 9 of the 16 investigators still on the case gave to Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or to both, and none gave to Trump. Now, shouldn't such a wide disparity in political support of one party over the other give the American people concern that even though you are off the Mueller team, that the fairness and lack of bias that President Trump deserves and the American people deserve just might be lacking here?
The gentleman's out of time, but the witness may answer the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, what I'd tell you is this, and what I'd ask you to tell your constituents is this. I have and had no idea what contributions were made by anybody staffing the special counsel's office. What I can tell you and what I'd ask you to relay to your constituents is the men and women that I saw, the attorneys, the agents, the analysts, were the most remarkable, bright, patriotic, hardworking people that I've ever had the honor of working with. I want you to know, and whether people leave here believing me or not, I was absolutely and remained absolutely convinced that the efforts and the personnel who make up the Office of the Special Counsel are the best in America. And I have complete faith and confidence that they will arrive at the truth and that they will do that well.
The gentleman from Ohio yields back. The gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Strzok, I don't know where to start. If I could give you a Purple Heart, I would. You deserve one. This has been an attack on you in a way to attack Mr. Mueller and the investigation that is to get at Russia collusion involved in our election, which is what this committee should be looking at. A direct strike at democracy and what this country's about, and free and fair